If someone shares, I cannot stand it when I see this all the time because I'm a part of a big community, but I do see it all the time when someone's trying to give someone some, not just advice, but share something with them, and they have to seem smarter or just listen. Just close your mouth for a minute and listen, because you're going to learn something and add value to yourself.
No. Ooh, that's better, right, babe?
Yeah.
Yeah. She founded an architectural concrete company.
He founded a $100 million clothing company.
She took the world by storm as a social media star.
He took the world by storm as a famous serial entrepreneur.
Together we started a business.
And had babies.
Now we're figuring out the best ways to do both.
Join us as we learn from other entrepreneurs going through the same life struggles.
As they share their life hacks about success, love, kids,
and everything in between.
Surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, the believers and the thinkers. But most of all, surround yourself with those who see greatness within you. If you can dream it, you can do it. Quote by Walt Disney.
Welcome to the Pretty and Punk podcast. My name is Dan Caldwell, and I'm here with my beautiful wife, Ildiko Ferenczi.
Ildiko Ferenczi.
Just want to make sure you were here with us.
I'm here.
Okay, we're on the same podcast together. So we got another great podcast today. And today, we love talking about this type of stuff because it's important. No matter where you are on your journey, something like this is important. It's something that we all of us need to do, and we do it at different levels. And sometimes you're the person people are trying to be around. Sometimes you're the person that needs to be around somebody like this. So the podcast is about surrounding yourself with other dreamers that inspire you. That's important, right?
Yeah.
Why you looking at me like
well,
that?
I guess
like I'm doing the wrong podcast.
No, it's just I've pulled back on using the word dreamer. And I used to say it all the time. But for me now, I'm just really focused on surrounding myself with other people that have the same vision and purpose, and just wanting to surround myself with people that want to follow their God-given destiny. And I like to call it something a little more powerful, my God-given destiny, my God-given assignment. And that's really what's powerful for me. But if it resonates with you as a dreamer,
I think
it's the same type of thing.
I think people get it. When you're saying it, they
Right.
get it real quick, because everybody always thinks of, or at least I do. I don't want to put this on everybody, but I think of Walt Disney. Mm-hmm. I think of this guy who had this dream to build something, and now it's still around even after his passing. Mm-hmm. He's got these parks all over the world. And it's so, and I go there to dream. I remember going there early on in my, entrepreneurial career, going there to just feel that presence, to be there and go on this tour, the Walt Disney tour there, and see where he used to sit and where he was, his office where he would dream at. And dream about these ideas. And so I needed to be close to that. So I just think of dreaming for that reason, but I get what you're saying. But before we jump into that, let's do this real quick. Hey guys, we hope you're enjoying today's episode of the Pretty and Punk podcast. And if you are, and you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. It just takes a second. It means so much to us because it really helps the podcast get out there to more listeners like you guys. And if you know anybody it might help and you can send it to them, we really appreciate that too.
We also love and appreciate your reviews. Even the babies look forward to them every day. If you share this episode on social media today, don't forget to tag us. We want to celebrate you because we know it's not easy being a parent in business, and the way that you juggle things makes you a superhero. That's worth a shout out. Together, we have a community of our personal followers as well, and we just want to put it out there. We want to show everybody that this juggle is possible, and you are our family, and we're so proud and grateful to have you a part of this family. So don't forget, all the links are below in the show notes. And thank you again. And let's get back to the show. Well, my question today is, are you ready to pursue your God-given destiny? It takes courage, and it feels bigger than life. And sometimes you question yourself, am I big enough to step into those shoes? So I like to put more weight behind the words and the thought than just a dreamer, when it's somewhat the same thing. But how are you truly making an impact? And it's nice to sit down and think about it. Is this what you envision God putting into your lives? And the other thing is that when you become a mother, you almost see it in a different way, because each of your children have different talents. I was just talking to someone, and there's this little boy. He's 2 years old, and he's selling his artwork for $7,000.
Oh, you sent me that. I saw that.
Yeah. So I was talking to another mom, and she sent me that because we were having this very discussion about falling into your God-given destiny. Sometimes, you fall into your fleshly wants and the things that make you feel good all your life, only to realize later on in life that you weren't really implementing and sharpening your tools of the actual gift that you were given by God. So I just want to put more thought into it rather than just follow your dreams and whatever makes you feel good. Each of us have a certain assignment that was assigned to our life to do. And sometimes moms are so good at seeing that in their children at such a young age. Some are meant to sing and spread, change the world through their voice, their singing, through their speaking, through their art, through movement, whatever it is, you can kind of pick up on it as a mother. So for me, it feels like not just do what you want, let's do what we were born to do. And that helps you to really search, what was my purpose? Why am I here? And there are so many clues. And the most important thing is to surround yourself with other people on that same mission that can talk encouragement into you, not talk you out of your God-given destiny, but instead catapult you and push you into that destiny, challenge you to go 100%. To those places. And as you were saying, to sit in those environments of people that you respect and like, and kind of feel what they have gone through, the struggles, maybe the loss, maybe the tragedies, but they are still here and they still kept marching forward. They didn't let 1 no, 50 no's, 7 million no's. I hope you don't get that many, but you just keep marching forward and you just keep following that thing in your heart. Some people don't have a community to lay into.
Yeah, well, I think if you're trying to do something that's this difficult, that it's like, so, that 95% of people fail at, you have to surround yourself with other dreamers, with other people, like-minded people going on the same type of journey. I just love the challenge that this question brings, because I can identify with it, because I've been through there. I've been there in a place where I didn't feel like I had anybody that was thinking like me. I didn't have anybody around me that I could go, man, who else is dreaming like me? Everybody else is, they're not that, and I love baseball and all, sports and stuff, but I wasn't like, I played sports. I was pretty good at it, but I didn't ever feel like I was going to the, pros. So I wasn't into that.
In your gut.
And I knew people, I had people in my school who played professional football, and and that was their thing, but I didn't have anybody close to me, except for like my best friends. Well, I found people that were dreaming like me, that wanted to dream like me and do things like me. And I found myself, that's why I didn't have a lot of friends. I never had a lot of friends growing up. I always had like that one friend or the two friends. I think I had like 2 friends my entire life. until I got older. And then, my business partner was my best friend, and we started a business together. And I think some of my favorite times in my life was needing the energy from him, because sometimes when I was down, he was up, and when he was down, I was up, and we lent that to each other. So when you surround yourselves, it doesn't always have to be somebody who's a bigger dreamer than you and that's already successful.
No.
Sometimes it can just be somebody who's where you're at, but you guys are both dreaming together. And I remember going to, he lived in Huntington Beach and I lived in San Bernardino, and we would meet in the middle at this Carl's Jr., and we would sit there for hours and hours. They would literally have to throw us out of there because we'd eat lunch there, and then we'd have dinner there too because we'd been there so long, and just talk about, the dreams that we had on our hearts, the things that we wanted to do with the business with Tap Out, and all these ideas that we had running through our heads, and just confirming the fact that all these things were happening right now with, where we were in our business. And we just we were believing together. We were just saying it out loud, and we would just, co-sign each other's like, yeah, exactly. That's why we're going to be able to make this, that's why we're going to be able to do this. And those were some of my best times, and just being around other people, especially, your best friends or people that are close to you who have that same mindset. It's just something that will motivate you and keep you going in those hard times.
Yeah, I agree. And you really have to be careful who you surround yourself with, because sometimes they may have big dreams too, but they're on the wrong path, which can yank you down. So you have to look for people who genuinely share your values and visions. If they're pulling you out to the bar to have a drink, I mean, we all know now what alcohol does. This is I have my my biohacker friends. It is there is not one good positive thing about alcohol. It's proven to cause cancer. It's proven to cause all these different things in your body. So if you have that friend that, come on, let's go to the bar, I'm sorry, but you got to do the inventory if you want to live a long life on this earth. And believe me, I had some friends that were great and they were great dreamers, but they were on the wrong path. And I had to change that. And God gave me a wake-up call saying, listen, I'll give you another chance, but get back on the right road. This is not your path.
Yeah, alcohol just takes you off track. It takes you off track,
and it's
literally.
Not just alcohol, but that's a gateway to other things.
For sure.
And, if someone makes fun of you for going to the gym or eating healthy, Ildiko's eating healthy again, something like that. That's just like, are you serious? Get rid of those people. They're blocked.
And not to mention, I was just reading a story this morning about this lady who's being charged for murder because she accidentally ran over a friend when she was drinking. She's drinking, she's pulling out. Those are the things. There's nothing good that comes from that. No,
you have to be so careful with your circle. So, a little bit off topic, but a way where you have to, in your gut, in your heart, who's right for you. You do know. I always knew, but I needed that wake-up call. And if they're making fun of it's my healthy eating that saved my life, because yes, I used to go to the gym for hours and hours because I had that kind of mindset. I know now that overdoing the gym actually causes really bad things in your body. That's for another podcast, and I'll bring on some professionals that can explain it to you. But because I had the 8-pack and the muscles, I was like, oh, this must be good for me, and I'm eating healthy. But I wasn't totally eating healthy because I was dipping into certain snacks that had certain chemicals that are proven to do bad things to my body. So I need to surround myself with other people that are encouraging, and not just for my lifestyle, but for my God-given destiny.
So let me ask you this. So what's your formula? Kind of for, back in your entrepreneurial days, like when you were, you're still an entrepreneur. I'm not saying that's changed. I'm just saying your early days of being an entrepreneur, when you didn't have anybody to, you always had your mom, but how do you surround yourself? What was your formula for surrounding yourself with the right people?
Honestly, it was my mom. My mom was the one, because most of the women that I surrounded myself weren't really into creating great things for themselves. They were more into like in high school, girls were boy crazy.
Yeah.
And I never understood that. Like, I never was boy crazy. I wasn't into a lot of the things that the girls my age were into. So I felt like I didn't fit in, and I'd have those conversations with my mom. And I can't get into it too much because it's an adult podcast, but my mom was very, very honest with me in my teens and said, don't just bat your eyes at the first guy that tells you you're beautiful, because they say things for their own fleshly wants. Don't believe anything they say. And I was like, so are you saying that I'm not beautiful?
No.
She's saying, no, but guys will say things and treat you in a certain way to get things. Just watch. Don't fall into the trap, but watch the people around you. So I took my mom's advice. I was always very close with my mom, and I looked around. I was looking, these guys were treating them so wonderful before the hi, sweetheart, before the weekend. And then, as adults now, we understand after the weekend on Monday, they didn't even
dropped them
look
like a brick.
Yeah, and it was awful and a little bit off topic, but these are things as parents that are very valuable. Don't just tell your children, don't do this, because they're going to think you're trying to cut them out of fun. But you need to very, very clearly explain these things. So rather than having and school is so hard and so mean, and I had the nickname Untouchable and Unicorn, and it's interesting to see that the things that my mom told me were very wise. But anyway, as far as business, she was everything she said was
Isn't
right.
this
Darn
weird?
it.
Like, I don't know if you see the same thing. I'll probably take some heat from this, but every time I would, you're privy to kind of girl conversations. They're always talking about guys, but guys don't talk about girls. You know that? Like, we don't talk about girls. Like, we never talk about girls. Like, when we have our moments, but like, it seemed to me, now I could be totally wrong because I'm not a girl and I'm not in all those conversations, but it seemed to me that every time girls got together, their only conversation had to do with guys. Like, oh, do you see?
Yeah,
and he's coming over here, and
Not
yeah,
me.
we're supposed to see him, and I never got that because I never felt like that. Guys were always, we talked about like, yeah, we're gonna go ride the motorcycles, and I'm building this business, and yeah, I love this thing, and I'm gonna go buy. We never talked about girls. We just didn't talk about girls.
See, that's the thing that I had a hard time with. That again, they were boy crazy, and that is the discussions, and I felt really uncomfortable in those discussions. So I would pull back, and having lost a brother at a young age, I would gravitate towards the good guys, like the nice guy. There's a lot of nice guys out there that are very, I want to say, like a fatherly figure.
Yeah,
big
but come
brother.
on, guys and girls can't be friends. That's just
But in school it's different. There are boys.
No, it's not different.
No,
it's worse.
No, there's no.
Come
I
on.
promise. If Chris
Guys
Rattray,
and girls
if
cannot
there's
be friends.
if Chris Rattray,
No, this is your point of view, though. From your point of view.
promise.
From the girl, absolutely.
100%. I had friends that would tell me what people would be saying about other people. These people are bad news. Chris Rattray, if you're ever listening, like, you were a stand-up guy, God-loving, Christian. He saved himself for marriage. Like, look for those beautiful friendships in school, because there are those guys.
Okay, he's an outlier. That would be an outlier, right? But
not
But you don't
really,
think he didn't
though.
want to date you?
No, he didn't. We were just friends. I swear.
But
No.
that's from your point of view.
No.
I wonder if I'd
No,
ask
because
him if he was sitting in front of me. If I said, you didn't want to date her, and
No.
he goes, oh yeah, absolutely.
He
I was
loved-
trying to.
No, he was a god.
It doesn't mean that he doesn't want to date you.
No, I don't think
He
so.
sounds like a good guy. He saved himself for marriage.
Yeah,
and,
and
he's trying to be.
He was always
being a great
he
guy,
was
but
like,
that doesn't mean he doesn't
I'm
want to date you.
telling you that my God looked after me and sent me the right people, giving me the right pep. He was that cheerleader, like that, exactly the same kind of vibes that my brother that passed would give me to, tell me how great I am. I'm better than that. You can do this. Like these kinds of friends.
And that's who you need to be surrounding yourself with. And it's hard to find those
and I
people.
wish I could have found more girls like that. Some of the girls, they were sneaking out, and I just didn't feel that in my heart. I didn't want to do that. There's nothing good out there. So like going out after midnight and sneaking out, there's nothing good about it. You will put your life in danger. And I couldn't even imagine people doing it in a time like today where it's even more dangerous. Like I just couldn't. And I'm so glad that I had my mom lean into. Sometimes I'd question things because girls would be like, she's just mean and she's so strict and she just doesn't want you to have fun. But I silently in my head, I'm like, but that isn't fun. I don't feel it. So anyway.
So let's talk about some actionable stuff.
Person.
Like how do we get to be around dreamers? What do we do if you're like in your early stages of deciding and you know what the truth is? Just saying that you don't have to be an entrepreneur to need to be around other dreamers.
Well, and like-minded people.
And like-minded
people that have the same visions for family.
Yeah, it might be just having the same. Exactly. That's so perfect. Having the same vision just for your family and how you want to be as a person and how you want to be a follower of God. I mean, you want to be around other people that are sane and thinking and planning for those same types of things.
Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. It's right there in the good book. Let's go.
So what do we do? So what are some of the things? So like I was thinking meetups or groups that you can be a part of. There's a lot of programs out there that put groups together. I've seen groups where they actually have where you can actually tell whether there's any people in your surrounding neighborhoods. So you can go. I mean, you got to be careful, but. There's like-minded people that are signed up for these programs, and you can actually see if they're in your neighborhood or in your area. So you guys can do your own little meetup. So in other words, if you're in this large, I'll just say Tony Robbins group or something like that, and then you realize you're in his group, and then you can see through technology, through his app or whatever, that you have 30 other people in your area that you could be setting your own meetings up with. So you guys meet on a Tuesday and just talk about network and talk about things that you guys are trying to do. It just keeps, because people need this stuff. Being an entrepreneur or being a mother or a father, it's not easy.
No.
And when you have other people that are going through those same things, it's the whole reason we started this podcast.
Yes.
Was to let people know.
That community.
Yeah, there was nobody doing this or talking about how running a business and raising children at the same time. It's not easy.
It's
and
not easy.
Hear
and
other people going through it
on social
you
media.
Need that
it's
sometimes.
Just not. Yes. So I mean, join our group. That's number one. But number two, you can search on social media and even on Facebook. There's apps for moms. On Facebook, you definitely want to make sure if you're starting your group, you put the questions there with the like-minded, because there's
you don't want to get a bad seed in your group who's the Debbie Downer that comes in the group and starts talking about how this is impossible.
No gossip allowed.
Yeah, everybody's gossiping.
No,
you got to kick those people right out.
Yeah.
And you got to be that person too. You got to be the right person. If you're going to meet like-minded people, other dreamers, and you're the Debbie Downer, I'm sorry, is it Donnie Downer or Donnie or whatever? If you're that person, nobody's going to want to be around you.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's a lot of people who, and it's not always it's your fault, but it's not, I understand when you're having hard times,
just
you want to complain.
You have to tweak things in your mindset. And even with gossip, my mom, she helped me at a very young age to understand what it was and how toxic it was. So that was another reason I really didn't like to hang out with certain people in school. Now right now in my present life, being a part of the community that I'm a part of, sometimes we need prayer partners. And sometimes people tell me very, we confess to each other, and we say very sensitive things to each other. Now, if I ever have someone come to me and tell me, which I can tell that there was a person that told this person this one thing and it was supposed to end with that person, I already have made the decision that I cannot hang with this person.
Well, at least you can. You're not going to be telling them any secrets anytime soon.
No, but definitely, be the person that people can lean into you. And if they need to, that prayer partner that brings them closer to their God-given destiny, and they tell you something, may that end with you. Do not share it under any circumstances, because it just, imagine having that on your conscience.
And I'll tell you another thing too, guys. If you get it, if you're lucky enough to get into one of these groups, or if you have friends, that's great too, and you might have a different dynamic there. But if you're lucky enough to be in one of these groups, like just a networking group or a meetup group about parents or being an entrepreneur or whatever, success or whatever group you're in, if you're lucky enough to be in one of those groups, before you walk through the door, I used to do this, and it's because we're so great at talking about ourselves. We're excited. Yeah. We're excited about our business. We're excited about what we're doing. But have some intention when you go in there, and stand there before you walk through those doors and say, I'm going to ask questions. You are not going to learn as a person. You're not going to create friends and because you want to make those people want to be around you. And the byproduct of that is you learn things. You're going to learn stuff. Yeah. So when you walk through those doors, and if you're smart, you're not in a room where you're the smartest person in the room. You want to be in these rooms where you're the dumbest person in the room.
Oh, don't say that word.
Well, I don't want to use that word, but
okay, we're going to have to beep that.
Can I say be the person? I'll say it one more time. Be the dumbest person in the room. And I don't mean it real. I don't mean it for real. Don't be not for real. Okay. This is just, I'm saying it.
Be the person in the room that's eager to learn. Like, let's use a positive word. I get so mad because I don't want any kids picking up this.
Because we don't say those stuffs around our kids.
Never. But be the person that's eager to learn. Drop your ego as soon as you walk in that door. If someone shares, I cannot stand it when I see this all the time because I'm a part of a big community, but I do see it all the time when someone's trying to give someone some, not just advice, but share something with them. And they have to seem smarter or just listen. Just close your mouth for a minute and listen, because you're going to learn something and add value to yourself. Yeah. And as Dan, you were saying, that's a part of volunteering and serving by helping other people to open up. It's a type of volunteering and serving by helping other people to open up and listen to them and making them feel special. That's really,
be the beginner in the room. Let's see that. Be the beginner in the room. Each time you walk into these rooms, you might have a business that you're starting, and believe me, I was guilty of this. I was so excited about my company. If somebody asked me a question about my company, you had to shut me up. You had to stick something in my mouth because I was excited about it.
Yeah, I get it.
But I know when I went into these rooms, there were several times that I can physically remember standing outside the door and saying, "Go in there and ask tons of questions," and that's what I would do. Yeah. And I met great people like that.
That's how you build strong, meaningful relationships.
That knew more than I did, but were excited because I was asking them questions. And so it was like a really good relationship because they liked talking about their business like as I would. And I was asking them questions and I was learning. So it was just great for me. And I like being in those types of environments where you can do that. It's important.
Yeah, I agree.
Surround yourself with dreamers. It's important, guys.
Destiny-driven souls.
Well, I mean, we're all should feel like that. And believe me, there's people there's people in my life right now that, sometimes, and maybe I open that doorway where I'm having a conversation with them. We're in a business relationship and I have these conversations with them, and I have to tell them like, I want to talk to you. I had this conversation with this guy, and I want to speak with you, and I'm excited to speak with you, but you're bringing up all the reasons why you can't do something. And it makes me, I want to help you, but you should be bringing up all the reasons why you can, even if you can't figure it out yet. And I can help you figure it out. We'll figure that out together, but I don't want to hear the horror stories all day long every time we talk, because it makes me not want to talk to you.
Yeah, there's life and death. I mean, that's the power of the tongue. And you have to be so careful with the things that you put out there, because if you're saying that you can't, it's going to come true. If you're saying you can, it will come true.
And you got to be that person for other people too.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to be positive, even if you don't totally believe it all the time. There are times where I would like force myself to be that person.
You have to force yourself. I mean, let's be honest. We all have struggles and challenges, and sometimes you just, even when things are so heavy, you literally can feel your knees going weak and you feel like you're going to fall to the ground. And then you see your little girl smile up at you or your son smile up at you, and take that energy and put it into your, let that drive strength into your heart, into your soul. And I remember going through that so many times, just going through tremendous pain after life-saving surgery, or, news crashing down, hearing that, my mom is not going to make it, just things. And you have to find the good to pull you out of that hole, because I'm telling you, you can spiral very quickly. And the one thing I know, the reason why I didn't, is by the strength and the hope and all the power of God within me in those moments. And He will give you little things like your little one smiling up at you and shooting that energy into you.
I think that's great. And lastly, I'll say, and it's great that you brought up kids, because lastly, I'll say that you have to be that person for your children.
Yes.
If you if you are a negative person around your kids, you are going to breed negative kids that will tell you every reason why you can't do something.
Oh my goodness.
Or their friends, their other people. And it's hard to be successful if you're that person.
And then you put that heavy responsibility and the action that rather than you breaking the chain, stop drinking. Stop being unhealthy. Stop eating that way. Stop talking that way. You should have broken the chain. How could you put that on your child? Don't put that on your children.
Yeah, and don't speak that way around your kids. Don't tell.
I'm not saying you are, but it frustrates me.
No, I'm just saying people out there. And the truth is, we can all be that person
for someone else in a kind, loving way. If you see it out there, that may be one of your God-given purposes is, hey, I know that this is going on. That mom is really struggling. I'm going to be the light in that person's life. And maybe we can turn the whole relationship around and help her break the chains.
Absolutely. I think that's the reason I still talk to that guy that I was just
broken
spoken
chains.
about. Yeah, there's, trying to help them find the positive in their life so that they become that person, because sometimes they just need a little beacon of hope, a little something that shows some light in their life so that they know that this is possible.
Yes. And by all means, we're not perfect, but we are pulling back the curtains to tell you we weren't perfect and we are breaking chains. I haven't had a sip of alcohol since I had Daniel.
Yeah.
Because I said, I'm going to commit everything I have to giving him the best life. And that is through nursing him through figuring out, because we did have challenges. Doctor said, no, you can't nurse. And I told you guys the story about the tongue tie. I did everything I could to research. And I knew right now, while I'm growing this baby in my stomach, I have to eat in a different way. I have to eat in a different way while I'm nursing him. There are no shortcuts. But that dedication and that mindset helped me when I had to be the strongest on my healing journey, because everything had to be different. No, yeah, you know what I mean. I could feel.
You didn't just do that on the podcast, did you? Tell me you didn't do that.
Because I'm getting so frustrated.
You can't make sounds like that. This is like an audio podcast. You can't do that that was your mouth, but don't Please.
Well, beep it out. I'm just saying.
I can't beep it out.
Yeah, you can. You can beep out anything. I'm just saying, you have to commit. You have to commit.
Okay, guys. Surround yourself with other like-minded dreamers and people that are chasing after their God-given destiny. Everybody needs this in their life. Everybody needs to be doing this in their life, no matter where they are on their journey. You should always be surrounding yourself with people that are better than you, people that are like-minded like you, people that will drive you and tell you the hard things when you need to hear them, people that have your best interests in mind and they want the best for everybody. And you can always tell those people. It doesn't take long, because you can be around those people for just a few minutes and know what type of person they are.
And just remember, here's another thing. The biggest, saddest reality that there is one day being on your deathbed, realizing that you did not do what you were created to do, and nothing would be more sad than that. So just have the courage to be very committed and just surround yourself with the right people and challenge yourself to, you're going to know what your God-given destiny is. You're going to feel it, and there are going to be forces that are going to push you away from that. There's going to be people that come up and try to distract you, but stay laser focused, because I would hate for anybody to one day say, I didn't fulfill my God-given destiny. Nothing would be more painful than that.
It's torture. What do they say about the cemetery? There's more lost dreams in the cemetery than anywhere else. I don't know, something like that. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Pretty and Punk podcast. Well, if you guys aren't following us on Instagram, be sure to follow us at Pretty and Punk Podcast. And if you know anybody that's is going through this right now, that is not surrounding themselves with the right people, send them this podcast. Yeah. Hopefully it helps them. And it's things that people really needed to hear. And so we said this earlier in the podcast. It's the reason why we created this podcast, because there wasn't anything out there for entrepreneur parents that are going through what I feel like are the hardest struggles. Because not only is it hard starting a business, it's hard being a parent, and then put those two pieces together. There's nothing harder in the world. That's a hard thing to deal with, and you need to surround yourself. We'll just go back to the title today. Surround yourself with like-minded people, dreamers that are on the same mission. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week.
God bless you guys. Have a great week.
Thank you so much for listening to the Pretty and Punk podcast. And thank you for listening to this episode. Make sure to surround yourself with the dreamers. I've loved you guys. God bless. I appreciate you listening to Pretty and Punk podcast. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Check out the podcast, hit that like button, and so many followers. God bless.